we are in a dynamic world and we all understand it. We are in the world of YouTube and Google and Facebook, and it is so different right now that we make decisions based on these sites. As a matter of fact, parents, if they don't see kids around, they Google on their website, where the kids are. Kind of, it has led to that kind of dependency on the internet. And to certain degree, it is good, and in certain things, it may not be good. To give you an analogy, if I am looking for a nice room because I am flying to San Francisco and I want a nice hotel overlooking a waterfront, San Francisco Bay, I can go to the internet and I can check, and pretty much I can make a decision to whether to put my credit card and rent that room or not. And that can be done on the internet, and that is the beauty about the internet. It has made world smaller. It has empowered people. That's a good thing about the internet. And we could do a lot of such decisions, like buying a camera or buying a car or something like that. But if you are an investor and if you want to invest and buy a property, waterfront property in San Francisco, probably now you cannot use the internet. Why? The game changes, because you are an investor. You are no longer a customer looking for a deal here and there. So you have to distinguish when you log on to the internet. Are you a consumer or are you an entrepreneur? Because both log on to the same internet, both are on the same highway, but they use that highway very differently. So you have to understand that in this business, you are an entrepreneur, you are an investor. You have to, you are not just logging on to Amway.com to buy a product, S8 or a detergent or a excess energy drink. Yeah, that is a part of the business model, but when you are building up network, it's a totally different ball game. So do not let internet help you to make decisions in the area where you should not be dependent on the internet. I was reading an article just a couple of days back. It said anybody writing something on the internet and at the end, if it doesn't have a LOL, it is kind of profound. Only when you have a LOL at the end, people know that it is a laughing matter. But if you don't have a LOL, you are no different than a CNN, okay, or a Fox News or a CBS News or not. So that is the kind of information which you got to be careful about, because there are a lot of people who will write their opinion on a blog, but that opinion has nothing to do with facts, because facts are totally different. But you never know what that person is. He might be writing that blog from a jail, he might be writing that blog from a different country, he might be writing that blog, because on the internet you cannot find out, because in the end there is no contact information. So you have to be very careful and going to the internet and telling, oh, let me find out something about Amway or any company, Brit Worldwide, or probably any other partner stores, Best Buy. No, you got to check that. You got to really understand where that information is coming from. For example, if I go to Amway.com, towards the end there is a contact. Okay, there is a list of contact. I can feel free to call them and verify what they've written. They say that there are 300 patents, let's say. Amway says that on the website there are 300 patents. And if I have a different opinion about it, it may not be 300, it might be only 250. I can call and I can find out, hey, you guys have written 350, can you verify that? Now that is a kind of intelligent decision you got to understand. But if somebody writing a blog saying that they don't believe in what has been offered and they have some negative, you have to really understand where they're coming from, because it is true for any company. Apple is one of the finest companies, Walmart is one of the biggest companies on the planet, but if you go to the internet and put anti-Walmart or Walmart or something like that, you will see a lot of lawsuits, but that doesn't have any bearing over your decision to go to Walmart or buy an Apple product. Or for example, start a Amway business. So you have to really keep things in perspective when you are using the internet. It's a good thing, but at the same time, it can be counterproductive when you are using it for reasons where you should not be using it. So be aware, because there are some good sides, there are some bad sides, but you will never know that. Like when you are going on a highway, in Detroit we have I-75, 696, these are all motor highways. Now when you go to a bad area, you can see it, the neighborhood is bad, there is a graffiti on the wall, and kind of people who are hanging around are not good. So you immediately get an idea that you are in a wrong place. But on the internet, when you're going to a shady place, you'll never know that, because it's all the same, looks the same. Okay, even though that person might be somebody who may not have credibility, you will never know from that website what he is. So you have to be careful, because Amway is a fantastic opportunity. As a matter of fact, I just want to give you an analogy here. Amway has partnership with several companies, several Fortune companies. I'll just give a name of a company called Best Buy because it is known in the electronics area. Now, name Best Buy, okay, for the company founders, the company investors, that's a brand, that name cannot be tarnished, okay, because that is an important name, because that name carries so much revenues for them. So now, when they tie up with a company like Amway, they will research Amway left, right and center. They will have lawyers after lawyers to make sure that Amway is a legitimate growing company. And same thing vice versa. Amway will also do it about Best Buy. So when you have these kind of partnerships established with companies, that should give you comfort that there are a lot of lawyers who have done their research, they have done their study. So when your friend tells you, oh, I heard something on the internet that this is not a good business, okay, is it backed up with some lawyers doing some research? Has your friend hired some lawyers to really investigate? Because probably individuals like you and me cannot analyze a company. Forget about individuals. Even 20-30 people coming together and doing research, it will take years for you to research a company. That is where JD Powers, Consumer Reports, CNET and all these companies come into play. They're the ones who has the capacity to do it. So so you have to differentiate between research versus just a search. Anybody can put a search and get something out of it. So be careful, because don't let the internet steal your dream. Okay, because business is a working model, $10 billion plus, highest number of growth in China and so many different countries, India, Japan, Korea, so many 65-70 countries and territories Amway is present. They had to break the bureaucratic barriers out of these countries. Can you believe that? Doing a business in China, how many US companies can do it? Very few companies can do a business in China, because a lot of companies do not have the muscle power to enter and establish themselves in a country like China, a country like India. Okay, they are very protective towards their consumers, and they don't want a foreign enterprise. And here is a company who has done that and having volume out of these countries. So it's a very profound company. It is a lot of history. A lot of people are building it. So develop that comfort to understand what we understand. Maybe in the next 1 to 2 months, as you build your business and get to know people, you will realize that you are in good hands.